There are a lot of myths out there about concussions, brain injury, and recovery. And today we are going to talk about the top 10 myths that are out there. Whether these are the most prevalent myths or just the myths that irritated me the most, I don't know. We will ignore that question and jump right into myth number 1, that you can tough out a concussion, that you can just clench your teeth and muscle through, which is so untrue. Ignoring a concussion can lead to serious complications and can extend your recovery time significantly. It can even cause permanent damage. So if you suspect that you, your child, your loved one, someone you know has a concussion, please seek medical advice as soon as possible. And this is not medical advice. This is your medical disclaimer that I am not a doctor. I am just sharing things that I have learned along the way as I recover from my brain injury. So make sure you visit your family doctor and get medical advice on your particular situation. Myth number 2, if you don't lose consciousness, you don't have a concussion. That is false. In fact, the majority of people, over 90% of people who have a concussion, never lose consciousness. Myth number 3, a concussion only happens from a direct blow to the head, which is again untrue. A concussion can happen if you fall off a ladder, you land on your butt, and your brain gets shaken inside of your head. I was in a car accident and my brain got shaken and twisted and is an unhappy camper up there. So if you think, oh, I don't have a concussion, I didn't black out, or I didn't receive a direct blow to the head, if you are dizzy, if you have a headache, if you have one of the myriad of symptoms that go along with concussions, make sure you get it checked out by a healthcare professional. Myth number 4 is that concussions only happen to athletes, which is obviously not true. They happen to anybody who have shaken around their noggin, who have had a blow to the head. Well, athletes are at a higher risk. Concussions can happen to anyone, from car accidents to slip and falls, and a lot of other everyday activities can lead to concussions. It's important for everyone to be aware of the symptoms. We have a bit of a comprehensive list in our video Concussion 101, which I will make sure to link. I'll just throw this in there. It's not a myth, but it irks me when people say, well, their concussion is worse because they were hit on the head or they were kicked in the head on the soccer field and you didn't lose consciousness or you didn't receive a blow to the head, you just fell at work, so your concussion is not as severe. And I think we need to not compare our recoveries to other people. Concussions suck. They just suck, and they have so many symptoms, and a lot of them are not visible symptoms. Just because a concussion doesn't fit what you think it should look like or what the mode of injury should have looked like, let's stop comparing ourselves to each other and just honor the fact that concussions suck, recovery is hard, and we're all just doing the best we can. Myth number 5, if you feel fine after a blow to the head or a slip and fall, then you don't have a concussion. Symptoms of concussions can be delayed and might not appear for hours or even days later. And they can worsen if they're not attended to. So it's important to monitor for symptoms like lack of coordination, headaches, nausea, dizziness, confusion, that sort of thing. And definitely seek medical advice. I'm going to link below a list of symptoms from the CDC so that you've got something to go back to. Myth number 6. All concussions show up on CT scans or MRIs. I wish they did, but most of them do not show up on those kinds of tests, which is frustrating. Concussions are functional injuries. They often don't cause visible changes to the brain that can be detected by a CT scan or MRI. Concussions are often diagnosed based on symptoms and a neurological exam. That's why it's crucial to report any symptoms or worsening of symptoms to your healthcare provider. Myth number 7 is that you only really need to go to the doctor if you have severe or worsening symptoms. Actually, it's important to see a doctor after a blow to the head or if any mild symptoms come up, because if you can start treatment early, you are more likely to have a better recovery, shorter recovery time, less severe symptoms, and less chance of long-term complications. Early evaluation can help you to manage symptoms. I reached out to my family doctor within a few days of my car accident, and she was phenomenal. She had a list, I think it was called Concussion Protocols, and she had a list of symptoms to look out for and things to do and ways to alleviate pain and stay off your screen. So it was really helpful and gave me some power in a kind of overwhelming situation. Myth number 8 was startling to me and actually had some interesting follow-up information. Myth number 8 is that boys get more concussions than girls do. Studies show that girls and women are just as likely, if not more likely, to get concussions, especially in sports-related injuries. It's important to recognize that concussions can affect anyone, regardless of gender. The interesting thing for me is that research shows that concussions affect people differently. Typically, boys experience more confusion and mental fog, while girls experience more sensitivity to light and noise and lower energy levels. And I'm going to link the study that I pulled that information from below. Myth number 9, once the symptoms go away, your brain is fully healed and you're good to go. Even if you feel better, your brain might still be healing in there. So follow medical advice. Even if you feel like it's too much, even if you feel like that's not necessary. If your doctor tells you to take it easy, to rest, it's usually best to follow their advice and not rush back into activities that could put your brain recovery at risk. I know, no fun. Party pooper. And myth number 10, a concussion affects only your brain. While the brain is the organ that is primarily affected by a concussion, it can also impact a lot of other areas of your health, including both your emotional and physical well-being. Symptoms can include changes in mood, changes in sleep patterns, sleep disturbances, and more. And they can all impact your daily life. And there you have it. 10 common myths about concussions debunked. Remember, if you have a concussion or if you suspect you have a concussion, seek medical advice as early as possible. If you would like to explore some of the resources I used as research, you can check out the links below. And if you found this video helpful, I hope that you will give it a thumbs up. I hope that you will subscribe, and I really hope that you will remember that you are not alone in your concussion.